Hey, what's going on, everyone? Vega here for SerpentX Tech, and I was just wondering what would happen if I didn't pay my past due balance on HiveOn or Hive OS, right? I got 3 GPU rigs, 1 FPGA set up on a Hive OS configuration, which I showed you how to do in a past video if you haven't checked that out, and then 3 ASICs, 1 Bitcoin miner, the Whatsminer M30S Plus, and then 2 Script or Litecoin / Doge miners. We got the Mini Doge and the Doge 2. So what would actually happen when we get to the end of the road? See, right now you can see I have a negative 17 cents balance, and it says I have a day left and a total of 0.19. So basically when I get close to 20 cents, I should not be able to use ASIC Hub anymore. I'm not entirely sure because ASIC Hub is set up on a different machine and it's just monitoring my ASICs that I had configured. I do have them configured to use the flight sheets in Hive, so I'm wondering if I didn't pay and we did hit that point, does it disable the miner, like shut it down? Does it disable the flight sheet or just remove it? You know, does it just go dark and like stop monitoring? I am not sure, but I am interested in finding out. I did message the HiveOn team in Twitter, so I hope to hear back from them about it. But we're just going to let it ride and see what happens. I hope it doesn't put my account in the negative standing. That's not my intent, but I just wanted to know what actually happens if I don't have any funds in my account or I forget to refill it. And it goes past, it goes into the negative, right? What's interesting to me is this is a very useful tool for mid-scale, large-scale operations to monitor hundreds, if not thousands of different miners on there. But for the small at-home miner, these little bits of cents add up, right? We're paying for our Hive OS subscription. We're paying the miner dev fee. We're paying the pool fee. You know, we're paying the electricity. All that adds up. And so among all my rigs, if I was making $15 a day, after electricity rate and all these different fees from different things, it's more like $7-8. So it's quite an inconvenience for the small miner when you can instead just simply click the miner or type in the IP address in your web address bar. That's normally what I do. I just go to the IP, I memorized all of them, and I just log in, I check the miner, make sure it's on, it's hashing, it's good to go. Keep an eye on the temperatures, I make sure that the uptime is good. I also verify at the pool. The pool is usually what tells me if my miners are offline because they have notifications. And you can set it up to notify a specific email or whatever if a pool fails. And there's even certain pools that allow you to connect Telegram or whatever you want, WhatsApp, so that way it can notify you if something goes wrong or if the miner stops hashing, temperature limit, whatever. There's a number of variables. So the pool usually does that, where Hive OS or their ASIC Hub is kind of doing the same thing. You can see granular details, right? Same thing you were to see if you were to log into the actual IP of that miner, like the clock or frequency, the voltages, the temperatures, the fan speeds. I don't see wattages for some reason. I can see it on the M30, but I can't see it on the Doge 2 or the Mini Doge, which is very interesting to me. So it gives you the same thing that you would see on the dashboard if you would just go to IP. But for a large farm, that would be very counterproductive or not very efficient for them to have to go to every single, open multiple tabs, go to every single IP and make sure everything is good to go. Where again, if they were using a pool, depending on the pool, they could actually get notifications and monitor all that stuff and then log in to whatever the device is that's giving them issues. So HiveOn or ASIC Hub does have its use cases. But now that we're in the middle of a billing section where I'm about to hit past due, it says I have a day left. What actually happens? You can see on May 3rd, it charged me 7 cents, and on May 4th, it charged me 10 cents. And so we're just incrementally getting closer to that point, but I don't know what is it actually going to do. Now, they do have a forum where you can check out some of the different FAQs or questions that someone might have, like how many workers you can have before you have to start paying, and you know, if you did utilize their ASIC firmware, their HiveOn ASIC firmware, you get like a discount, or you don't have to pay for you know, your daily fee. I'm not sure, but there's definitely a couple of different variables in there, and it just depends on your farm. For me personally, if I wanted to save every cent, I wouldn't use ASIC Hub, and I would just go to log in every miner, because I only have 3 ASICs and the rest are GPUs that I can use on HiveOn or Hive OS. And now because I have 4 rigs, I am paying for that other setup too. and that's quite unfortunate. But you can separate it. The problem with that is if you are caught trafficking, they will mess you up. They will mess you up. If you're trying to move rigs around, create separate accounts, and do this, that, and the other, and they find out, you're gonna mess up, and then you'll be SOL. There are other remote monitoring softwares out there as well, but then again, you know, they're gonna cost. They all are free to a certain point, and then they start costing you. I love Awesome Miner for a Windows application. You get 2 miners for free, but anything beyond that, you're SOL. You could see on my Awesome Miner, I have the same ASIC set up along with the GPU and CPU in the system, but my 2 free are being used up by that, so I can't see anything with this. But at least I can see, you know, the miner IP. I can see the pool it's on. I can monitor vaguely some information here, but I can't do anything else because I don't have a subscription with Awesome Miner. So that's quite unfortunate that we're put into this position. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let HiveOn, or I'm going to let my ASICs continue to ride on ASIC Hub and see what actually happens when we get to the end of the road and I didn't pay the balance and there's an amount due. So stay tuned. I will be back in a few seconds for you, but probably an hour or a day for me. So we're nearing the end of the day, right? So this counts, the balance counts the following day for the previous. And so what's going to happen is when I'm sleeping tonight, it's going to hit that wall where I didn't pay. I'm in a negative balance, and HiveOn did respond and advise us what exactly is going to happen. Now, again, for small scale miners, not a big deal, but for mid to large scale operations to have multiple miners to manage all at once, this can be a little bit problematic. But here, they advise that your account will become locked and you'll be unable to make any changes or access any workers until funds are deposited. However, once your deposit clears, because there is a time delay for the transaction to complete, so many blocks, so on and so forth. So once that deposit clears, everything will go back to normal. But if I let this run, what would happen to me is at nighttime, the rigs will stop, nothing will be accessible. Now, from my understanding, because the flight sheet is telling the miners or the ASICs, this is the pool we want you to mine, the port number, the worker name, the user, that should still continue. It's just I wouldn't be able to manage it in ASIC Hub anymore or through my HiveOn application very easily, whether it's on my phone because I'm out at work or whatever, or at my computer. So the convenience factor is a huge selling point of HiveOn ASIC Hub and the number of services they have. However, for a small scale operation or a small farmer, at home farmer with 3 ASICs that I can hook up to this, I could easily just go straight to the IP and then update the miner's pool address and port, worker name, wallet, whatever that might be, and I'll just continue hashing away. I just won't be able to use it in HiveOn anymore, and then I have a balance that's negative. Now, whether or not this negative balance, because it is a sub account, right? Because I have a main account, then I got 2 sub accounts, one for GPU, one for my ASICs. With this one being past due or overdue and not paid up, does that lock the entire account? Is a question I have, but I don't want to push it because then I lose my GPUs and I got to create a whole new account. Then I got to reset up, reconfigure all my GPU rigs and all that stuff. So honestly, if it comes down to it, you're a small operation miner. You got Awesome Miner. You do have HiveOn. If you only got a couple ASICs, you'd be perfectly fine. But when you start getting, 4 GPU rigs, 3 ASICs, and you start just getting bigger and bigger and you want to add it to HiveOn, you're going to have to make a choice. Do you want to pay for the convenience factor of being able to manage, or do you want to get as much as you can profit-wise and try to cut down on fees, whether it's by using miners that don't have such a high miner dev fee, using pools that doesn't have such a high fee, or HiveOn or Awesome Miner, it doesn't matter. You got to fine tune for your setup, your configuration, and your situation overall. But right now on the machine, I could technically steal some money, or well, not steal, it's my money, but move some money from one of my farms over here to this and just clear out the balance, give it a couple extra few bucks, and that will give me a couple extra days on it as well. But long story short, don't push your limits. If you have a negative balance in HiveOn or Hive OS and you don't have the funds to cover it, it will lock you out. and you're just going to have to manage it directly yourself. And there's a number of different ways you can do that. With ASICs, go straight to the IP address. With GPUs, you might have to find a different operating system. Maybe split your rigs up, some on MMPOS or, Simple Mining OS, and then some on Hive or MinerStat or Rave OS, whatever you want. Have half and half, just so that way you can get into the free version. But HiveOn provides a decent service. Their team is usually pretty good responsive. They responded quite quickly to my questions. So there's kind of a benefit there of working and being having a good working relationship with the company that is allowing you to manage all of your rigs in a convenient, easy GUI interface or graphic user interface. But that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to talk about that. You let me know what your thoughts are down below. What are you using to manage your rigs, maintain them, whatever it might be? Let me know down in the comments. And do me a favor on the way out. Hit the like button. Make sure to get subscribed. Hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out some of the links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. I will link down to the HiveOn or Hive OS forum where you can ask some of those questions or look at some of the questions others have asked. And there's some affiliate links down there to help support the channel, and I thank you so much for all your help. But besides that, you just have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. I'll catch you in the next one.